I am a crier. I cry when I'm cutting onions. I cry in some movies like thrillers, action, love stories. I cry in my therapy sessions with clients. Yeah, I do. Yeah. But now, I don't cry in all of them. But when I do, it's because maybe the story that they're sharing just really hits an emotional chord with me. And sometimes it could just be because I'm experiencing allergies, like legitimately experiencing allergies. There are a lot of reasons why we cry. And today, I'm going to talk to you about why we cry and how it's helpful. Come on in. Let's get started. Welcome. I'm Tracy Dickens, a psychologist, and if you're new here, welcome to the community. If you've been here before, welcome back. I'm so glad to see you again. A lot of us don't realize just how often we cry. Research suggests that women on average cry 3 to 4 times a month, and men cry approximately twice a month. So everybody cries. There are 3 reasons that we produce tears. Number 1 is for basal reasons. We have tears just to keep our eyelids moisturized. It helps us experience light's reflection better so we can focus our vision. And it also protects our eyes from any kinds of irritants. The second reason we produce tears is reflex. You know, when you're outside and you're walking on a windy day, especially here in Oklahoma, it gets so windy and so much dust in the air, and my eyes can just get really irritated with all the dust and junk in the air. So we will naturally produce tears to clean out our eyes, and we produce a chemical that has an antimicrobial factor to it. So when that dust and allergens hit our eyes, it protects our eyes from developing infections, which is really helpful if you get exposed to toxic chemicals. There's the third reason that we cry, and that is for emotional reasons. And this can be for grief, it can be for joy, it can be for happiness. I mean, there's a ton of emotions that we will find ourselves crying. Here are the 5 benefits to crying for emotional reasons. Number 1, research shows that when we cry, it has a soothing effect on our body. Specifically, when we shed tears, when we cry, it activates our parasympathetic system. And our parasympathetic system is the parachute that calms our fight or flight response. The second benefit of crying is that crying promotes social support. We think of babies when they are upset. What do? They cry, and somebody comes to their aid and meets a need or provide some kind of soothing connection. Crying is seen as an opportunity to attach, to connect, and feel safe and secure. The third reason is that tears release oxytocin and endorphins, and both of these chemicals promote connection, and they also help with pain relief. So it kind of makes sense whenever you stub your toe and a lot of times you start crying because the pain is so intense. That is your body's natural attempt to soothe and heal you. Isn't that amazing how our body works? And a fourth reason is that tears help elevate our mood. That oxytocin and endorphin rush that we get whenever our tears flow, that also lifts the heaviness of that anxiety and depression. A fifth reason, tears release stress hormones. And so have you ever noticed whenever you're just really overwhelmed or stressed, oftentimes we get to this breaking point, where we just start crying and we can't even identify why we're crying. And a lot of times that might be because we're just really stressed. That's usually my trigger that I'm stressed, is when I start crying over something that normally wouldn't bother me, but I find myself crying. And the kind of cry that you might do when you're a kid, but afterwards when I do it, I'm just like, wow, okay, I feel so much better. The next reason that we cry is that crying helps us sleep. You think about babies when they're upset and they start crying, what usually happens after a while? They fall asleep. Now, all you parents out there, I am not saying pinch your kid to make them fall asleep. Yeah, we're not doing that. But you get the idea, right? And I know as an adult, when I have a day that's really overwhelmingly stressful, I will turn on a worship song or I'll watch a really sappy love story and I will cry and it will just lull me into sleep. And the next day when I wake up, I just have a better perspective on things. I don't feel as overwhelmed and bogged down. For those of you out there who started this video thinking crying was a weakness, hopefully this information helps you see that actually crying is our body's way of healing itself. It's by far not a weakness. And if you need even more proof, well, Jesus wept. I don't know about you, but I would never consider Jesus to be weak. Oh, far from it. Hey, as I'm editing this video, it occurred to me that some of you may want to know a little bit more about, do therapists cry and why do they cry? I think for me personally, whenever I have cried with clients, it's been for one of two reasons. One, of just really leaning into their story, and I am just very aware of the pain and suffering that they're in. And whenever we're in that space with someone, oftentimes those tears that we shed, it's just an empathy, it's a support, it's validating and witnessing their pain and their hurt. And that's comforting to know that the pain that I'm feeling, someone gets it. They don't have to say a word. The fact that they're crying lets me know that what I'm feeling is absolutely okay. And they feel it too. And then there's been other times when clients have brought up situations that are very similar to life situations that I've had that have been painful. And for whatever reason on that day and that moment, it just hits me. And it just hits me. And so I definitely have cried with clients. By no means am I acting full on crying like what I showed you earlier in the video, but I definitely do cry. And I think it's good for clients to see that so they know that what they are feeling, it's okay. Because we all shed tears and those tears release toxins and they connect us. And so I just wanted to be transparent about that before I let you go. And hopefully now that you have all this information, you can see this healing property of tears as being a superpower. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Like and subscribe. And until next time, choose joy. Take care. Bye.